Comes out your son. You burn this wine when I want you shine. The tree of life, them I want you climb, cause them heart no kind. Comes, I say them heart no kind. Buxton Massive, Kidaki, Red Hat. The fire burning red and a Georgia representing if it comes hard here. You know. Big up Kidaki, Buxton Massive. Hey Babylon boy, you going like you like come son. Red.
Hey fans, it's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton. Dance to the magical songs of yesteryear by popular DJs and Camps Audio. Admission is free. Come out, let's make memories at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton North.
Comes out your son. You burn this wine when I want you shine. The tree of life, them I want you climb, cause them heart no kind. Comes, I say them heart no kind. Buxton Massive, Kidaki, Red Hat. The fire burning red and a Georgia representing if it comes hard here. You know. Big up Kidaki, Buxton Massive. Hey Babylon boy, you going like you like come son. Red.
Never joke, never joke, never joke. Oh, money never, money never, money never, money never, money never, money. And I know what you can I been money. Money never, money, money never, money, money. You can keep, you can I been money. When you been not for a bum, in a business be money. Now because you money down, you come with conniving money. When you had your pocket full, in a business tell me morning. Now because you money, all your hustle for tell me morning.
Yes, morning, neighbor.
Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, I know what you can even morning. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that me walk for. A 2 pound note and a kill that piece. A 2 pound note and a kill that piece. A 2 pound note and a kill that piece. This is all the money that me walk for.
I said, morning, neighbor.
Money, neighbor, money. Money, neighbor, money. Money, I know what you can I be money.
Oh, Joseph.
Guyana and Guyanese, at home and abroad. Tune in to Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by Kadaki Amsterdam, where the sun always shines. Guyanese Morning Time, the people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. We rise up early morning watching comes TV, where wisdom and knowledge, yes, it is the key. Exposing corruptions over land and sea, where the wicked politician they try to trick me. Guyana is a land for everybody. With 6 races should live in harmony. Is one set of people getting oil money. Is one set of people doing the thievery. Guyanese Morning Time. The people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. This is a program that you all can see, sharing your views and your integrity. Like it, comment and share it all around. Pass it to your neighbor, safe and sound. A sad situation going on in this town. The voice of the people is getting trampled down. Out of the mouths of babes and sucklings, which has ordained me to sing. I sing Guyanese Morning Time. The people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, fooling the people. You promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. Stop fooling people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. I say Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. They got Breakford, Bork and Mark Benchcop. David Hines and Kadaki Amsterdam. Sherrod Duncan, Nigel London. Normal Brown and Gavin Matthews. Big up Paslow, poor people governor. Simona Brooms, Robin Simpson. Hampton Green and Winston Jordan. And yes, we can go right on and on. Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again,
The relatives and friends of young Wyndham Bacchus, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of our in Boston, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of Peter Headley, they deserve justice.
And so when we say that Guyana is an apartheid state, we have the evidence to show.
You can get meat anywhere, but for the best cuts of chicken, beef, pork, mutton, and lots more, check out T and W Harris Butcher Shop, located in the East Ramvelt Market Meat section. Call us on 609-7168, 641-4494. Ask for Rastaman. T and W Harris Butcher Shop, for the best in fresh cut meats and lots more. Hey fans, it's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton. Dance to the magical songs of yesteryear by popular DJs and Camps Audio. Admission is free. Come out, let's make memories at Club Twilight, Sideline Dam, Buxton North. can't see myself going to work today. Morning, are you morning, neighbor morning? Why the neighbor morning, neighbor morning? Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. It is 7 hours 36. I am your host, Kidaki Amsterdam, the Buxtonian. Welcome to another program. It's Free Talk Friday. It's the 10th of May in the year 2024. How are you doing? How are you been? What's happening in your neck of the woods? How you make out yesterday? Well, go on, you talk to me now. Did you achieve any goals yesterday? Did you see anything from on the part of this government that gave you hope? How was your last night? You rested well? You met some money before you sleep? What happened? How you wake up this morning? I hope you've woken up reinvigorated. We had a thing they used to call Vigorix. I want Vigorix still in this country. But if you're reinvigorated, you best get some Vigorix. Right? Free advertisement day for that one. You all need to get up and get, because the evidence is out there. They're going to mash you, and they're going to mash you hard unless you're prepared to stand up and fight back. Good? I like to toot my own horn. I like to say, blow my own horn. I like to say, I told you and I'm telling you again, activism works. Activism works. Activism works. And Guyanese have to be engaged in activism. We have to continue to engage in activism if we intend to change the government and the government attitude. Right? Keep that in mind. Why am I saying that? Another victory for the people. Can you imagine if you're just seeing that poster that Priya was inviting the nation's children to write an essay to talk about how school feeding program helped them and just left it alone? If people just seen that poster and left it alone and say, they always. Maybe some people just say that, they always. Can you imagine what was going to happen? Then the nation's children would have been writing an essay that is distasteful. The essay might not have been distasteful, but the mere idea of putting children through that is distasteful. And so this morning, I want to big up all of you. Every single one of you sounded your voice against this craziness. Loco, woman. Molière, loco. Thank you for sounding your voice. Because by the time we were finished with the program, sometime shortly after, I saw a notification that the ministry has pulled the essay writing competition. Bravo, people. Bravo, people. Bravo, people. Just imagine if we were to get together. If we were to get together and be activists against many of the other wrongs in this society, what we can achieve. Just imagine that. That's what I want you to achieve, to imagine. It may not be as easy in that you're not going to get them to act in one day or a few hours, right? But definitely, you can get them to act. But you just have to be persistent. Let me ask you all something. I'm running my mouth off all the time. You all hear anything I say? Because I just realized like one of my microphones was muted. Did any of you hear me? Please indicate quickly so I can decide if I need to recap or go right ahead. Talk to me. Were you hearing me from the time I came on, people? Good. You were hearing me loud and clear. Good. So yes, activism is important. But we have an attitude of saying They're not going to change it. We can't do nothing but it. Let me wait till election time. You know how many of us will be dead and badly wounded before elections? Let us be active now. Activism is what is needed in this country. And it doesn't always have to be peaceful activism, it could be radicalism. Because in some instances, your activism can be peaceful. Non-violence. That was Martin Luther King and what's his name? Gandhi. Right? Non-violent activism and so on. Yes, in many instances, that is what is preferred. But the reality is, in some instances, it takes a little more than passive resistance. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for, passive resistance. So in many instances, passive resistance may work. It may take longer, but in some instances, it just got to be upfront and personal in some people's faces to get them to understand that you ain't backing down. And you're standing up for what you believe is right. Because not because you believe is right, you know. Right? So my position is activism works. And this is just another example of how activism works in this country. Works for anything. Because previously we have had several other examples. A few years ago, when we decided that we were going to hold a day of protest in front of Buxton, the whole cabinet came and they went to Buxton front at the community center. Led by Super, Islang Ainkari. Super, the man that wasn't even invited to the Congress. Right? They say he's neither PPP nor civic. He's just a doormat. And doormats weren't needed at the Congress. Good? Yes. So we're talking. A few years ago, when we decided to hold that day of protests, the whole cabinet came. And we went to Buxton front at the community center ground. When the Working People's Alliance started hosting community meetings to discuss people's problems and highlight them, the PPP were following, we were leading. Every community we went to, we addressed the people and we told them what our thoughts were and what they should do. The PPP went thereafter to appease the situation. Check it. Activism works. And more Guyanese must be active. Right? More Guyanese must be active. We have to be active. Otherwise, we ain't getting no change. I'm encouraging you, join the train. Join the movement. Let us take on this government. And in this instance, since elections are a few mornings away, I want us to take them on the issue of biometrics. I want us to take them on the issue of a clean voters list. That's what I want us to take them on. David Hines has had his say on the PNC and their role in this activism and their role in this fight. I want to say, I've said it before, and I'm saying it again. I firmly believe that with your support, with you coming on board, the WPA can lead this fight too. The WPA can lead this fight too, I want to place it on record again as a reminder that we have protested in front of GCOM because Kiraki Amsterdam dared to go in front of GCOM and start a protest for clean voters list. One would have expected that the opposition elements, the opposition parties, the main opposition parties, we like to say, would have utilized its resources and its connections and grow that process to an amount that was unmanageable for the police and the government of the day. Because that is what you want, unmanageable numbers in front of GCOM, to make them realize that this is not something that we can wish away. Many persons might argue that, Kidaki, your actions were premature. You started too early. You started too early. Well, we're just a few months away from elections. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? We're just a few more months away from elections. I've been recommending for close to a year now that we start training our election day workers. We start training them so that we have enough time to train them and train them properly, number one. And number two, so that we have enough time to quietly do background checks on them. And so when we select, we know that we select hardcore people who believe in the cause, who are going to stand up and defend every vote. The time is now. We can't wait forever. The time is now. As of today, let's start building a movement to go in front of GCOM. Let's start building a movement to call for biometrics, unambiguously call for biometrics and appeal voters this. I'm not the opposition leader, but I'm willing to lead that protest in front of GCOM. In fact, I know party leader. I'm merely an executive member of the Working People's Alliance. But I'm not even prepared to wait on the Working People's Alliance to say, let's do this. I'm prepared for us to do it as an individual, as an activist, because I believe in activism. Let's start to gather our numbers in our households and in our communities. Because unless we put numbers in front of GCOM, we ain't getting no place. The teachers are out there on strike. The teachers started striking yesterday again. I am not clear. I can't tell you whether or not they were on the road in protest. If correct or anyone is listening to me, maybe you can give me an update. What is the situation? How is the teacher strike being dealt with? Are teachers going to be on the road in front of the Ministry of Education, in front of Ministry of Labor? Where are teachers going to be during this strike session? So that support can go there. People can support that strike action. But can you imagine how the resources of the state will be stretched if you have hundreds of teachers in front of the Ministry of Education or the Ministry of Labor, wherever they are? You have hundreds of citizens in front of GCOM. And then if you have pockets of citizens in their communities, on the main roads of their communities, all protesting, can you imagine how the resources of the state will be stretched? And that's what I want us to do. That is what I want us to do. Let us put numbers not only in front of the ministries with the teachers, but let us put numbers in front of GCOM. And let us put numbers in the communities. And so East Coast Police ain't got business with Georgetown because East Coast Police busy too. And Georgetown Police ain't got business with East Bank because East Bank, Georgetown Police busy too. That is what we have to do. Our activism must be not only persistent, but strategic. Let us bring our people out in all nooks and crannies in this country. supporting the teachers' strike, and calling for biometrics and a clean voters list. Let us test the mettle of this government. Let us test the mettle of the political police force. That's my invitation to you this morning. I'm going to give it, let's say, to the end of the month for us to build the momentum. And so maybe by June, we'll be out on the road. As a matter of fact, we perhaps should start now, because the teachers are already out there. Let us not wait. Let us, for starters, join the teachers. Those of you who have the ear of Patrick Yard, tell him, let the nurses come out. And the other public servants that they represent, let them come out. You can't sit back and say, this not gonna work and that not gonna work. The only way to make things work is if you work them. It's Free Talk Friday. I've spoken enough. The lines are opened. 6225933 is the number to call. 6225933 is the number to call. Early voice note.
Good morning, Canadian listeners. I always say it on this program, if black people don't rise up, they're going to mash them into the ground. Into the ground. The longer they take for rise up and understand what is happening, they're going to mash them into the ground.
Call all the line, please. Let's complete.
Good morning, sir. Imran here. Calling from the hardware store. Hello?
Oh, yeah, you're calling from the hardware store. I told you after lunch is the delivery, man.
After lunch?
Yeah, that was the arrangement.
You got to take it this morning, you know.
All right, let's call you in a minute and give directions. I will call you just now and give directions. I'm active in something. Yeah. Good. All right, folks. Y'all gotta give me a minute or two. Oh, let me continue playing the voice note while I address this this situation here, please.
Good morning, Canadian listeners. I always say it on this program, if black people don't rise up, they're going to mash them into the ground. Into the ground. The longer they take for rise up and understand what is happening, they're going to mash them into the ground.
All right, thank you for your patience. I'll have to take a musical break because I can't take calls and I can't be exactly on the program right now. I need to address a situation that has to be dealt with immediately. So bear strain. I know y'all don't like when I say bear strain. In the meantime, share the life. You know, it's I don't like to say selfish, but it's funny how it is for a program that has more than 1,000 viewers. When you check the shares, you have in many instances less than 40 shares. That's not how we do it, man. It can't be the right way to do it. Please share the program in the meantime.
Boss, I'm not coming to work today. I can't see. No, nothing wrong with my eyes. I just can't see myself coming to work today. Thank you. In other words, I'm not doing one grass soul today. Don't tell me about work, I out on the road today. Me and some pretty beaches, I out on the boat today. I don't care what time of day it is, I'm drinking rum today. I'm having fun today. Yeah! Holiday, today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say, I'm not going to work today. Holiday, today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say, I'm not doing no work today. I'm on the road, yeah. To the beach, yeah. To the club, yeah. Pool party, bus crawl. Up down, yeah. Down. If it's your birthday, turn up. Get drunk till your face get numb. When my crew then come around, drinks up and sing along. Holiday, today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say, I'm not going to work today. Holiday, today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say, I'm not doing no work today. Yeah, bring the vibes so we pump. And now we drink and drink till we drunk. Pop bottles, you know we. The bar must bust when you see we touching. We drinking. Some bad girl we linking. What up thickers, what up slim day. Same timing. Sing along with me if you agree, no man. Holiday. Today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not going to work today. Holiday. Today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not doing no work today.
Special dedication to the teachers. I'm not going to work today. Today's a holiday. Today's a strike day. Right? The lines are open. I see Saturn saying all my business out there. You know the thing is, Saturn, I am never usually afraid of where my business is out there. Because I try to do good business. Right? I try to stay in the clean. I always say as a youngster involved in politics and so on, especially when I became older, if you have political ambitions, if you want to run this country, and if you want to be minister, you want to be this, you want to be a serious public official, try as much as possible to live squeaky clean because you can come back to haunt you. Right? You can't be doing nastiness. I mean, Guyanese society is different. People really don't hold their politicians accountable the way the US and so on would hold their politicians accountable. But the reality is, if Guyanese were really, really serious about holding their politicians accountable and put aside this race thing, put this race thing aside, a lot of politicians that we got in this country right now would have been in the garbage bin of history. Because the nastiness is well known, and it's well known across. Can you imagine a man that has been accused of rape? It has been alleged that he raped a young lady. Being in the central executive committee of the leading political party or the political party that is in government currently, where would that have happened? The great Bill Clinton had to greasy heels and get out. And check across the world, history will tell you that a lot of politicians just had to grease their heel and get out of office because the people made them do it. For less infractions or allegations in that. But now, in this country, you could do the guards, man, and you still got a political life. Well, I'm not hoping that my fortunes will be the same. I am trying to ensure that I try to keep it as clean as possible. So when my business go, there's nothing illegal. I ain't scared of nothing. Right? There's something I ordered from the hardware store, and they're ready to deliver it against the time I told them to deliver it. That's all. If you want my business, I just give it to you. Go to your life. Thank you for holding.
Well, good morning, Kadaki. You spoke so many things. Come into the
choose a few. Choose only a few. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now with the essay, you're so right with that personal thing. The parents must remember when that little girl sang 6.5, what happened to her? And if the child should take on to write that essay, they should write the reasons for they trying to give them food is because the 6.5 that is being given to the parent is inadequate. So they end up on that food line. You could remember when they came into being and said they're going to give sanitary napkins to the girls because the parents can't afford it. And after that, little girl was being groomed and alleged raped by a minister. All of that. Now we're in election mode. And I'm saying it daily. I think it is time that all the leaders of the opposition parties, our leader Norton, Cameron Trumpton, all leaders of the opposition party, along with the voting public, should come out with a unanimous cry that in front Ali must be the one to give the date for election. Well, I don't know after they have cast Winfield out into hell, if he's still gonna be the fixture to be running to the CCG to let them get victory over all that is proclaimed to be evil. Now, if they don't take my advice, we have had court cases going to the court. They claim it got too late and they throw it out. This election can fall in the same realm. You prepare, you got to the polls and everything, and they go to the CCJ that they have bought and say, well, look, in front, Ali did not give the date for election. It was the second vice president. And the second vice president had no right to give the date. And the CCJ could say, however, the election has passed, and seeing it was not given by the person who is supposed to give the date for election, we have no other alternative but to scrap that election and remain with who was in power. There goes another 5 years. I think it is high time leaders of the opposition and other people come out with a unanimous cry. We need the date of election to be given to us by the installed president. Moving along, not long though. Now, in the week, the woman Isabel Young was accredited to a high position in CNN, all because of that expose that she did, showing all the corruption in Guyana with moonshine. Lots of people were talking a lot of things and said that it can't see the light of the day. And if because of that interview, it has pushed Isabel Young into the realms of CNN, and I know she's going to get a top post as a journalist, I know that the Shoegate story, it is alive and kicking. It is only waiting for time to come out in the open. Because you go to a volcano don't erupt today and belt lava tonight. A volcano that's got volcanic eruptions going along for years. And then all of a sudden, it gave vent and it burned up and what it got to do. In a comment, a white person wrote, who is Isabel Young? Well, you know this old brute been doing the same thing. So I had to tell the person, if they didn't know about Diana, and they didn't know about Parrot and this Shoegate story, they would not have had to ask, who is Isabel Young? So that is another plus. And people take note. Lastly, now I remember when the installed regime first took office, one of them people could buy or don't know is who they draw a picture with prayers sitting down like on a throne. And a black woman with a child had their hands like they're begging for something from the first woman. Now, this thing, it is coming down. They always want to portray us Africans in a begging position. Why they did not put all the races of Guyana into that competition and say everybody must write all this sour polari and slimy drink Buxtonian, and they come because parents like to let people have their meals to find food for me children. Once you become a parent, you should know that this life, you bring it and you're supposed to look after it until a certain age. And you should not throw out, don't matter who is the problem. I know of going hungry to let my children get food. Because you know what, Kadaki, I didn't want to. We see they're doing there that happened to my children. And these people have got why they didn't put another race and doubting to show that they're benefiting children. But no, they always, the PPP, always want to portray the Africans or the black people in Guyana as nobody at all. So we always begging, we always asking for this, we are asking for that. And everything that they could get to destroy our people, they put it out there. Now when you put out a black child right in the competition to win the set output, what are you doing to the child? And I like your opening statement with it. In days to come, so that child go and write an essay and they come up after the world and get things. People will throw it in their faces. Let the child who said the poem and who sings 6.5 can write a poem, essay pertaining to the
Wrap up right now.
6.5. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. All right, we gotta get conscience to, you know. God. Yeah, the lines remain open 602-593 is the number to call. You tune to the Guyanese morning time. I think there is a voice note. All right, let's take this call. Call your life.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. And good morning, everyone in the Guyanese diaspora. Good morning, all Guyanese. I think, you know, before I go into what I wanted to say very quickly, Mr. Amsterdam, you know, what I just don't understand about governments, especially Guyana, is just how it is that some people have indigenous lands. And we Africans who have always been here, for some reason, we just can't get up and articulate our right to soil. Right? And that's a different argument for a different day. I know there's a lot of people are ducking that argument that African Guyanese have been here from the creation of time. And some came by boat and sea during slavery. Some, not all of us. As my thesis shows, that Africans in Guyana are aboriginal people. We are aboriginal to the soil. And a lot of politicians, their heads in the clouds, they can't seem to conceptualize what I'm saying. I don't know if it's pride or what it is. But these same politicians are going to tell me that other people arrived here. But if some people arrived here, what does the word arrive mean? And I could prove, based upon just solely the right of soil. You could check it in any international doctrine of law. The right of soil, the soil under our feet, that makes us aboriginal people. I don't know why these senior councils can't grasp that simple jurisdictional doctrine. I coffee am saying that we Africans here are aboriginal. We're not even indigenous. But we could be indigenous too. We could be indigenous. Like Buxton spice mango is indigenous to Buxton spice. To Buxton. Berbice spice mango is indigenous to Berbice. But no mango is indigenous to Guyana. United Nations told us that people from Plaisance are indigenous to Plaisance. African Guyanese are indigenous to Plaisance. Linden people are indigenous to Linden. If you adapt a particular culture, particular way, mores, customs, then it becomes indigenous to the particular region. Hence the mango, hence the Berbice spice. Okay, crack is indigenous to Guyana and African Guyanese, as curry is indigenous to India. So it's not only one set of people in Guyana can qualify according to the covenant of the United Nations on what determines indigenous status. So we don't have to go around calling ourselves Afro descendants, as Mr. Eric Phillips pointed out. We are African Guyanese. We're not Afro nothing, I said before. Afro is a hairstyle. There is no flag called Afro in the United Nations. There is no nationality called Afro among the 194 countries in the United Nations. Stop it with this Afro. Afro is a hairstyle. You're going to back yourself in the corner with that reasoning. So we don't have to claim Afro descendants to claim Indigenous. We are already Indigenous to Buxton. Or Barbies, as the Amerindians are Indigenous to wherever they find themselves. Now let me say this. You can be Indigenous all you want, but you cannot be Aboriginal. There's only one Aboriginal person in Guyana, and that's the African Guyanese. I said in my thesis because South America today was Africa yesterday. So we are Aboriginal to the soil. I'm saying it in the Guyanese Parliament. African Guyanese are original to this soil under the law of just so leave. The right of soil. Now, very quickly, Mr. Amsterdam, should governments exercise the power over eminent domain, as we have opened this morning the discussion with? I saw the sister on the video, and she was raising the claim that she was not properly informed. I think eminent domain may be used carefully, if used carefully, not to abuse the rights of persons and their private property. Like I said, it may be used. And I said it shall be used. It may be used. But when you have the government seeking to benefit from persons' private property, particularly when they're using it against marginalized communities, such as African Guyanese and Amerindians, etc., then it's an abuse of government's authority. Property owners can challenge the government's use of eminent domain. Challenge it, the government, claim of necessity. The government wants to claim necessity. So we can challenge their claim of necessity. Mr. Amsterdam, you raised a point this morning about DDL's property. So how can they claim that this part of the neighborhood they're trying to use now, the name is slipping me, that it is necessary to use that area? It is not necessary because they had some sort of arrangement with DDL, so that you can use that to counter their claim of necessity. Government also like to use a compelling government's interest. I don't see it's compelling because the same way they're billing that, they have other places to build that bridge. There are several other places to build that bridge. So that can't be a compelling government interest or necessity. The process by which the government uses. The lady complained that she was not properly consulted. She was not properly informed. Her lawyers were absent. Proper compensation. Mr. Edgel, by the way, is on the video. And he can be seen and heard bullying. Yes, I said bullying. And the abuse of government's power by insisting that the government had already acquired. Pause for a second. Mr. Edgel is bullying because he's telling the lady to her face, we already take your property. I'm paraphrasing. So he says, he used the word acquired, and the lady stopped him. She said, acquired what? How could you have already acquired something and you haven't gone through the proper process? The sister is on point. Very intelligent black woman right there. Very intelligent. I was wondering if she went to law school or something. Because she asked me, what capacity are you coming to me? Meaning that you coming to me as the government or you coming to me as an individual? So the sister is very, very keen on what she's asking. She ain't no fool by a long shot. So she raised all these things about compensation, satisfactory compensation. She's saying that the compensation, if she said, because she said she's not against development. So she left the door open. If we're going to talk compensation, the compensation should be a balanced, satisfactory. And they're saying that one set of people getting 57 million, and on the other set they're getting some. Not satisfactory. So she raised some key points there on compensation and the poor service. She said she was not properly and timely served. That's a big thing. She said she was lived there all her life. I lived there all my life, and then you're going to come along and tell me in 3 months I got to move. So the law says you can challenge eminent domain on these grounds: necessity, poor service, abuse, trying to abuse your power to use the land for private use, as we saw on both sides of the Jumpy Bird. So these are very good points to raise, Mr. Amsterdam. Very good points. And I like to remind the party leadership. You can't, on one hand, tell Amerindians that they have indigenous status and get 18% of the land, and we Africans who have at least 2 claims: Aboriginal claim and indigenous claims, and we don't even have any land that the government has given to us. And Dr. Heinz talked about it last night. He alluded to, he says, look, you got to start representing the interests of the African voting base. I've been saying that over a year or 2 years ago. You can't tell me you're looking for 5% vote. Roydale Ford wants to represent us. And he's saying that PNC and APNU are the Black People Party. In essence, he's saying he's not catering for PNC and Black people issues. I don't know how he's going to represent us as the leader going forward in a crisis while we are politically and ethically divided. Are you going to cater for 5% illusionary vote? And you can't stand up as a leader and speak to the issues that the 95% who vote for you for the last 60 years, you can't represent them, and you want to be the leader. Roydale Ford. So once again, I just hope our leaders come with something different, because that old-time nonsense ain't working no more. Once again, thank you for accepting my call.
Thank you for your call. Voice notes.
Good morning to Kadaki. Kadaki, I'm hearing you talking about campaigning, but with campaigning comes funds. Can we set a goal for like 10,000 US so that this campaigning starts? You guys could go to the length and breadth of the country, because as I just came back from Guyana and there is a lot of issues and there is a lot of problems, and they would have a lot of work to do by the WPA to talk to these people. Thank you.
Thank you for that voice note. I'm going to give a very simplistic answer because I'm a very simplistic person. Let me play this voice note before you answer.
You say Infinali is not a fake, right? But the word we're supposed to be using, yeah, we know he's not a fake, he's an imitation. Yeah, he could imitate good, very good. You understand me? He's an imitation human being. He could imitate everything that you want him to do. This is the kind of person you put there, a clown, a puppet. So I know you're trying to say he's not a fake. You know he is. That's why you keep telling the media about he's not a fake. Yeah, you know he is. He's a clown. It's an imitation. Are you going, someone? Go ahead.
The man is not a fake, he's a real clown. It's no fake clown, it's a real clown. Call your life.
On God bless you. I call on one basic occasion, and that is to apologize to you and the rest of the 592. Because nobody had told me to withdraw, but I had withdrawn because of a track that was taking place. Not your nothing to do with you, but a wider scope of in general thing that was doing. But not nobody. I am not afraid of no human in this whole universe but God. So I move in the spiritual realm. However, I want to ask my fellow Guyanese a question. Oh, Guyana, we are God-fearing people. Our majority of us is God-fearing, and we put God first. How come yet still, when we got a government that will be led by a pharaoh, attitude, character, and behavior in general, leading us, controlling us, and directing the destination for our children, for our life. This is time for Guyanese to realize you can't be God-fearing and scared to apply the word of God. You can't be a true child of God and be disobedient to the word of God. And this is why I'm saying this. As Coffee had said a little earlier, he was saying, but it was pride. That is number one tool. The kingdom of darkness, sword is pride. The kingdom of a child of God is the word of God. The sword for the spirit is the word of God. So that's the tool that normally clash. And once again, to what Coffee was saying, leaders have to stand up, speak truth, declare truth, and allow the truth of God to motivate them against evil power. That's why we say speak truth to power. We are talking against the devil has power, demons has power, but they don't have no power above God. And so the people in Guyana, the righteous-minded and righteous-hearted people in and out of Guyana, have to stand up for the righteousness and embrace what is right. We can take an example because many people parade in the form of light when they are really in truly darkness. One example, look at Mr. Edgel and that woman. Mr. Edgel is supposed to be claiming to be a bishop. He's supposed to be a man of God. He's supposed to be influencing the PPP leaders them in the right direction without fear or favor. But look what he's doing. He's a typical example of the kingdom of darkness. So he parade in the form of light, but really he reflected darkness. So what I'm saying because from the kingdom of God, as a child of God, we walk in obedience to the word of God, the will of God, and the things that God ordained us to do. And God tells us, love our neighbors, we love ourselves. Love one another. Do unto others you should like them to do to you. Take the beam out of your eye first. Take a seat, take a because brother, you're hypocrite. These are the word of God. And when a person truly claiming to be a child of God, they have got to be obedient to God, not to a party or to anything such like. So what I am saying to this nation, be careful of those who are parading in the form of light, but really they are darkness. You are the fruit, you shall know them. Teachers, once again, congratulations. Parents, please support the teachers. And all the rest of you, please come on board. And those who are even in the PPP part, those who are righteous mind, they come to the internet silent, and the heart picking them, and the conscience, let your conscience be a guide, and stand up for what's right. This nation, this generation, our descendants is at stakes, and your future also is at stakes. God is going to deal with us all. Stop this wickedness, stop embracing wickedness, and let this nation prosperity and blessing that is given by God be enjoyed and enjoyed by all Guyanese. God bless you once again, Mr. Kadaki. God bless you, Florida. And Guyanese, we're going to get there. Let us stand up for righteousness. Have a blessed day, Guyanese.
Thank you. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Them not like me conniving morning. Why you do morning, are you? It's Monday. It's the 13th day of May in the year 2024. And it is 7 hours 24 in the morning. Welcome to the program. I am your host, the Buxtonian Kidaki Amsterdam. What a gwan! How all you spend all your weekend? How many of you made some money? How many of you made some attempt to make some money? Or did you just rest and recuperate? How many of you only spent money? How many of you had a good weekend, wonderful Mother's Day yesterday? How many of you honored the mothers in your lives? Those are things I want to know, you know. y'all could share with me. I always have a listening ear. What bothered you over the weekend? And if it didn't bother you, what made you smile over the weekend? Yesterday was Mother's Day. Sorry, I didn't have the opportunity to do a special program for you ladies, you special ladies. I didn't even get the chance, I really didn't do social media yesterday, maybe until late last evening. I didn't get the opportunity to wish you all a happy Mother's Day. And so, every day is Mother's Day. Mothers should be celebrated every single day, like humanity should be celebrated every single day. But yes, we choose that special day to, go above and beyond. Now I want to extend that day to today. Happy Mother's Day to y'all. From us at the Cams family here. Happy Mother's Day. So by special dedication, I'll play this one for you. Enjoy to the fullest. Please do.
Hi, what's up, girl? Oh, Chris? I don't hear from him for a long time, And Chris all over the world. Yeah, I'm so proud of him. Hold on. Okay, no, I'll have to call you back. I'll call you back a little later, shortly. All right, good.
Mama, where would I be, Lord? Where would I be? Where would I be without my mama? Mommy, me love you, there's nothing I'd put above you. No house, nor no girl, nor no car. Stand firm in my life, nothing about you. From a barn, me and you apart. Mommy, I'm a princess. Mommy, I'm a dance first lady in my life. A girl, I'm the understand. Special dedication to the big woman. From your love, your mama, make me see your hand. So bust a blank for your mama, light up for your mama. Selector, you better pull up the one you for your mama. Proud of your mama, sing loud for your mama. Yeah, I make you know you're happy. She bring you come here. From your heart, help me sing this one. From your love, your mama like this man. There's no one like my mama, no. Mama never had it easy at times. Sometimes she cried. Many days I don't know how we survive. She's in a worry, it will be fine. We held on cause of mama's teachings. And in the scripture she placed her beliefs in. Real thing, if I never mama, I wouldn't believe it. So go blank for your mama, light up for your mama. Selector, you better pull up the one you for your mama. Proud of your mama, sing loud for your mama. Yeah, I make you know you're happy. She bring you come here. From your heart, help me sing this one. From your love, your mama like this man. There's no one like my mama, no. Hey yo, I feel my mama this year, I feel my mama this year. We gave my first and my last, yes, all of this. I feel my mama this year, I feel my mama this. Anything you want, you I get this, I promise. So anything you want, anything at all, anything you need, mama no pray to God. And this year is the sun fall. So bust a blank for your mama, light up for your mama. Selector, you better pull up the one you for your mama. Proud of your mama, sing loud for your mama. Yeah, I make you know you're happy. She bring you come here. From your heart, help me sing this one. From your love, your mama like this man. There's no one like my mama, no. Bust a blank for your mama, light up for your mama. Selector, you better pull up the one you for your mama. Proud of your mama, sing loud for your mama. Yeah, I make you know you're happy. She bring you come here. From your heart, help me sing this one. From your love, your mama like this man. Yeah, there's no one like my mama, no. She brings me home, yeah. Oh,
Bossa blank for your mama. Yeah. Every day, whole day, every year, whole year, we must remember that, we are here first and foremost by the Creator's mercies, and secondly by our mother's love. Only she had a outside of God, only she could have decided if you live or born, You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the vessel that had to carry you, man. I've seen some people treat their mothers and so on over the years, and it breaks the heart to see such a treatment. I've also seen mothers that treat their children, and that too is heartrending because you ask yourself, how could it be that this person was carried this bonded joy in their stomach, as old people like to say, um, for 9 months? Could be so heartless when it comes to dealing with them, right? But sometimes there's more, always, as a matter of fact, there's always more in the martyr than the person. And sometimes we look at women who have just given birth and they behave in a certain way, and we just see it as normal. We see them as normal, and so we condemn their behavior, but we don't take the time to really investigate and find out why it is that individual is behaving in such a way and so on. And sometimes it's simply as a result of the stress of childbearing, number one, and giving birth, number two. But especially in countries like these, we don't pay a lot of attention to we don't pay a lot of attention to mental health. Mental health is real. It is absolutely real, right? And so we must always ask ourselves, what is happening in that person's mind? Why are they behaving like the way they behave, right? It's not always easy, if I can say that. Good. It's another day in the program, and I want to welcome you. It has a label there. So I'm at Club Twilight, as I've been doing for the last several weeks or several days. I don't think we make weeks yet, unless we are in the second or perhaps. Wow, time flies. But that is what Club Twilight looks like currently. Good? Currently. Maybe I should put on the lights, but no. I don't like lights in the day. So even in the daytime, Club Twilight is dim. You can come down anytime and have lunch. From this week, we're going to be serving lunch daily. And so you can come down. I always advise, call before you come. Make a reservation. Right? It's best to make a reservation. Because it hurts me. A lot of people don't know, but I feel, and let me don't use the word hurt. It embarrasses me. I feel embarrassed when people turn up and say, Mr. Amsterdam, we come for lunch and you have food, and I have to say no. Because I know many of you make a special effort to come from Georgetown and to come from Linden and to come from the diaspora and all over the country to come and eat at Lou's Kitchen at Club Twilight. And it's heartrending. It's botheration to know that you've made that sacrifice and then you turn up and we have no food for you. Right? We cook good food. We cook good food, tasty food, right? Well-balanced food, meals and so on. And so the possibility is if you just turn up, especially if you turn up late, you're not going to get any food. Yesterday I had a pleasant surprise while the brunch was happening. One of our fans, one of our supporters from Golden Grove turned up. She knows herself. I'm sure she's looking at the program this morning. Thank you for coming. That was a pleasant surprise because as what was advised all the time, reserve your space for the brunch, reserve your lunch and so on. But she took a chance and she came. Unfortunately, we had food for her, right? like I said, as if they come on no food in there. You say you ought to find something for me, man. Right? So yeah. So you're going to get the opportunity to dine with us daily if you choose to. And I'm encouraging you to encourage others to, come dine with us. It was Denise Samuels. Denise said that I owe lunch. Denise, I wonder why. I think, did you turn up when you were supposed to come back for lunch, Denise? Right? A woman come and chat me up in this place and say she coming back for lunch a particular day, but she gonna call me. She ain't reach yet, but it's all right. I know your time constraints. Yeah. All right, good, yeah. So I want to say thanks for the support at the brunch yesterday, Club Twilight's brunch, and the lunch, the Mother's Day lunch and brunch. Thank you for your support. As usual, it's always welcome, and we're happy that we're getting the word out there as to what is on offer at Club Twilight: good food, great ambience, comfortable atmosphere, and so on. They say a picture tells 1,000 words, but you should have, well, it would have been a picture because you should have seen the people in this place yesterday. Brunch was scheduled to start at 11 and end by 2. All 4 o'clock, people still sit down relaxing, enjoying soft music, nothing too loud to damage the eardrum, and so on and so forth. Good music, good vibes, good atmosphere, conversational tones, and so on and so forth. So we're happy for that. Share the live. I said last week, Friday last, that sometimes I think we're selfish. We're selfish in everything. Almost 1,000 people, more than 1,000 persons looking at the live, and we have less than 60 shares right now. Come on, y'all, share the live. Do something. Right? Do something. Y'all need to share, man. How else the message is going to get out there? You must see your sharing as an investment in this program. Not everybody can invest financially. You must see your sharing as an investment in the program, in that the more you share, the more people get to know the program. The more people get to get the information, the more you contribute to activism. Right? I don't know if it has ever been done before, but I remember last week I threw up the WhatsApp number that they were encouraging students to submit the essays to on that school feeding program to Satira Girls Ministry. And I threw up the WhatsApp number and I said, y'all send WhatsApp to this number and tell them how you feel about the situation. Right? The more you share, the more people get access to that number. And so the more WhatsApp messages could be sent to register the disgust with that ministry's suggested topic. Right? And I'm positive that people would have responded to that call to WhatsApp them and tell them, hey, y'all, they're supporting this nonsense. Right? By the time we got off the program, the word was out that the competition was withdrawn. So please share. Please share. There's some who are willing just to share. There's some who will call in. There's some who will message, right? But whatever you do, play your part. That's all I'm asking you, right? There's some who thankfully support us financially and so on. Because don't forget that there are lots of expenses associated with these productions. You have to maintain a bill, a monthly internet bill. You have to maintain your space, right? Electricity, and there are lots of expenses associated, travel and so on to get information and stuff like that associated with these programs. So keep that in mind. Good? And so I want to encourage you, do your part. What are we talking about this morning? There are lots of things to talk about this morning. Rape. Another allegation of rape, or what people might say is another allegation of rape. Because I heard this allegation of rape before. I don't know if you can remember hearing this allegation of rape. But think back to when that young lady, Anissa, I can't remember if her name was Anissa, that young Amerindian girl alleged that she was raped by Nigel Darmla. Then all eyes as we see. All eyes as we see. Was on her. The same allegation that Miss Sa is that hack, no? Is making now. She made then. I remember reading a detailed statement from her about how Darmlal, how she alleged in that statement that Darmlal raped her. She made other allegations in those statements. She also had alleged that she had seen Darmlal disappear maybe $200 or $500 million by a stroke of a pen. So she had also alleged in that first round of allegations that Darmlal was a corrupt minister of government, and he was, what's the word? Misusing, siphoning off, stealing the nation's money. I don't know how many of you remember that, but I'm reminding you that these are not new allegations. So when I listened to the press conference, thanks to Mark Benshop, carried it live and so on. When I listened to the press conference, and people were asking her, why no? Why only no? I am saying, I'm coming to her defense, if you want to call it that. It is not now that she made those allegations. Those allegations were made before. And Guyanese people in general sometimes have short memories. We have short memories, or we do not pay enough attention to the things that warrant us paying attention. But it's not a new allegation. So I want to start by saying that. I want to draw to your attention because there are many of you who definitely listen, or many of us that may not say you, many of us who sometimes listen to things and we don't hear it all. And that is why when you listen to a press conference like this, for example, it makes a lot of sense for you to go back and replay it and as often as you wish. Good? Because there are things that are said that sometimes we miss. I want to draw your attention to some of them this morning, or at least one of them. Listen to this little insert or excerpt. Listen.
So I'd really like to know, well, I have two questions. Why do you feel so compelled to do it now? And like my second question is, how do you feel seeing your alleged rapist? I think he is now on I don't know the terminology, but he's on the ruling party's committee. I think he was recently elected. So I'd like to hear your response.
Sorry, your first question was why I wanted to do this now, right?
Yeah.
The reason why I'm making this so public, Tara, is because I know personally there are scores of victims, and these victims are not adults. They're children. They are not allowed to, their parents, God knows what else, they're not allowed to voice their opinions. A lot of them have been silenced. A lot of them have had abortions. A lot of them have been physically abused, in addition to being sexually abused. People are scared of retaliation. They're scared of whatever kind of judicial kickbacks you're going to have. The reason I'm making it so public is because I need to give people strength. I need to give victims the strength to know that they're not alone and that there's no shame in what happened to them. They need to reclaim their narrative and stay true to themselves and stay true to the truth, because your dignity comes and goes, money comes and goes, but the truth always remains the same. And it's just so sad that we have women here in power who have made these women shells of themselves, these girls. It's just like they just have no empathy for for victims, much less like women. I need people to know I'm making this public. I'm making this is compromising towards me. This is stuff I don't even want necessarily to be out there, but I'm putting it out there to let victims know they're not alone and that you could do this and be okay. The reason why I'm making this so public, Tara, is because I know personally there are scores of victims, and these victims are not adults, they're children. They are not allowed to, their parents, God knows what else, they're not allowed to voice their opinions. A lot of them have been silenced. A lot of them have had abortions. A lot of them have been physically abused, in addition to being sexually abused. People are scared of retaliation. They're scared of first question was why I wanted to do this now, right? Yeah. The reason why I'm making this so public, Tara, is because I know personally there are scores of victims, and these victims are not adults, they're children. They are not allowed to, their parents, God knows what else, they're not allowed to voice their opinions. A lot of them have been silenced. A lot of them have had abortions. A lot of them have been physically abused, in addition to being sexually abused. People are scared of retaliation. They're scared of whatever kind of judicial kickbacks you're going to have. The reason I'm making it so public is because I need to give people strength. I need to give victims the strength to know that they're not alone and that there's no shame in what happened to them. They need to reclaim their narrative and stay true to themselves and stay true to the truth, because your dignity comes and goes, money comes and goes, but the truth always remains the same. And it's just so sad that we have women here in power who have made these women shells of themselves, these girls. It's just like they just have no empathy for for victims, much less like women. I need people to know I'm making this public. I'm making this is compromising towards me. This is stuff I don't even want necessarily to be out there, but I'm putting it out there to let victims know they're not alone and that you could do this and be okay.
Yeah, why did I replay that so many times? Because repetition is a good teacher. Right? Repetition is a good teacher. And repetition, I hope, would have allowed you to hear what this young lady said. You know what she said? There are scores of victims out there. Scores. What I say, a score is 20 or something like that. So she didn't say 20. There are scores of victims out there, and they are not adults. They are children. They are children. Consider the psychological effect on scores. Scores can go into hundreds. It can go into 100. It can go into multiples. Scores of children, scores of young adults. Some of them definitely have become adult by now, who are walking around in this society with a burden of being sexually abused, of being raped, of being violated, allegedly, by a minister of government, a sitting minister of government. And I said this previously, and I'm going to repeat it. These allegations did not just now surface. They were also present when the alleged rapist, Dharamlal, was in the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs. Is that where he was as permanent secretary? Or was it a community development officer? But he functioned in a ministry that had oversight of Amerindian communities. And allegations were being made since back then. And to watch him elevated to minister in many societies would have been considered madness, because a mere allegation, unless investigated and proven untrue, would not have permitted, or doesn't permit, a lot of people to even continue to exist in the political realm or public service, much less to be elevated to the level of minister, where, at least in these countries, you have almost absolute power. At least that is how we behave, as though ministers have absolute power. Unchecked power. Because one would know for a fact that if you can be that vicious sexually as a lower level functioning officer of the government, when they give you unchecked power as a minister of government, how much worse it could become. How much worse it can become. Did you hear the young lady? Many of them have had to have abortions, and they've become shells of themselves because of that psychological burden that they carry. Why is Nigel Dharamlal being protected? Anybody can hazard a guess. Again, allegations are made that Nigel Dharamlal is not the only PPP operative that have allegedly raped, especially Amerindian children. Especially Amerindian children. As a matter of fact, word on the streets is that when they host these Amerindian pageants in Heritage Month, you have a whole excursion of ministers and government officials going to the heritage village just to make their pics. When that young lady gave her statement, she said, quote unquote, I might be paraphrasing very well, that Nigel looked at her and he said, since the first time I saw you, I wanted to F you. And the first time he saw her, she was way below 16, maybe 14, 15. And so don't think it's an isolated incident. Don't think it's isolated to Nigel Dharamlal alone. Allegations have been made. As a matter of fact, I've heard allegations made against Colin Crowell. So allegations are being made And allegations were made again about a whole host of people in the PPP, males, who are involved in what I want to consider sex trafficking. And they're emboldened by the women in the PPP because, again, if you listen to Ms. Hap, you would hear her say, Priya Manichan of all the persons, I think Priya is one of the crassest females in the PPP. She's one of the worst. Some people would say that she's a nice person outside of politics and so on and so forth. I can't tell you I know her outside of politics. But politically, I think she's one of the worst. And most of the women, if not all of the women in the PPP and in the PPP's hierarchy, are self-serving. They don't care three hoots about the rights of womanhood, except their rights as a woman. And we have to call these women out for what they are. Right? They empower the men in the PPP to do what they are doing to women inside the PPP and outside of the PPP. They are enablers, and we have to call them for that. Young lady Hack said, I have no confidence the police will do anything about this. She may be right. But as a society, we have a moral responsibility to call on our police force to serve and protect. Serve and protect. That's their motto. They're supposed to serve and protect every citizen of this country and not only politicians. Can we at least demand we get service and value for our money? Or is this going to be talk for another 9 days and then it's left alone? Is that what we are accustomed to? Is that because, again, I'm saying people seem not to remember that this young lady made these allegations since the young Amerindian girl made her allegations. Have you also forgotten that there was an American citizen of American citizen of Guyanese heritage, the young lady that first posted up photos and messages of Dharmlal being in some hotel and texting or sexting her, sending her images of his 2-inch. Remember, we were calling him 2-inch. Have you forgotten that also? How is it if the women in the PPP are not enabling this kind of behavior? How is it the women in PPP, if they are not enabling this kind of behavior, sitting there and watch Dharmlal move from strength to strength? Just those text messages from the American citizen should have been enough to have Dharmlal removed from office. But the situation was compounded with the allegations of the young Amerindian child. And even further compounded, or it is now complex by the allegations of Ms. Ha. One would argue that he's not in the PP, he's not Minister of Government now. But I'm sure he's a functionary of the government, even from the back rooms. He's a sitting member of the executive of the PPP. He has been elected to sit at the highest decision-making body of the PPP. How is it? How can it be allowed if the women in the party are not enablers? How? Y'all explain that to me. I would really love to know. Any self-respecting woman would refuse to sit around the same table. As a matter of fact, be in the same space with Nigel Daramla, except if it's politically expedient. Is that the only way by which Priya and the other women in the PPP can feed at the political trough of the PPP? Is that the only way they think they can serve this country? By enabling people who are allegedly rapists and child molesters and traffickers in children and sex? The women in the PPP ought to hold a higher standard. Please. And thank you. I think I'm getting a business call, which I have to take. All right. We'll call again then. Good. Those are things to consider. I want you to mull on that. I really want you to mull on that. Let's pay some bills while I return this call because it's my interest to do so. And then we'll talk about the other issue or issues. Hey fans, it's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton. Dance to the magical songs of yesteryear by popular DJs and Camps Audio. Admission is free. Come out, let's make memories at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton North. Thank you for your patience and permitting my misbehavior. I misbehave sometimes. For good reasons, though. Right? For good reasons. Yeah, so I am not even going to call for women group and this and that and so on, thing to call and speak out about this and speak out about that and the other next. The reality is, this man is a member of an organization, a national organization, an organization that has impact on the national psyche. And all of its members especially in the hierarchy, the upper echelons, exert influence on the national psyche. And so the least they can do is separate themselves from him. And the Guyana police force, the human rights, I don't even know if human rights still exist in this country, because the PPP is a known abuser of human rights and all other rights, individual rights and everything. But we ought to have an international investigation surrounding these allegations. This cannot still be a localized investigation, because listen to Hack again, people are intimidated, people are fearful. We see it every day. Guyanese are intimidated, Guyanese are fearful for the least of things. I don't know why where the spirit of fear comes from in the Guyanese society. People are concerned about the PPP goons killing them because they stand up for their right and so on. As we used to say, like all of we hand left with Mama Belly, because nobody is willing to fight back. Good? But I think by now, given the whole incestuous nature of Guyanese relations, the smallness of the Guyanese society, and everybody knows somebody, we ought to have an international investigation on this nonsense, these allegations. Because you might very well find, like Hart is saying, there's scores of victims. And with the proper investigation correctly done, you will find out that while there's scores of victims allegedly, or scores of people allegedly victimized by Damlab, there are also scores of people who are allegedly victimized by other major players in the PPP, number one, and number two, on the political scenery. And so this might be the time for such an investigation. Granger had called this the mother of all investigations. So maybe we need another mother of all investigations. Yesterday was just Mother's Day. We need another mother of all investigations. Perhaps led by a woman, quite frankly, so we can get some biases there. The understanding of womanhood and what woman suffers when rape takes place might aid the conclusions of any such investigation. So maybe we need that kind of investigation to take place. An international one, to get to the bottom of this, and you might very well find that it's bigger than the Epsteins and the 50 cents and so on and so forth. You might very well find that we got more problems, and I believe we got more problems than the child traffickers, alleged child traffickers in the US and around the world. You might very well find that. As a matter of fact, I don't know if these are children, but it is alleged that a particular popular businessman now sleeps outside of his home because his wife kicked him out, because he has a liking to little girls. That is a woman who's standing up for womanhood. That is a woman who's taking a higher ground. As they say, no names called. I throw me card. I ain't calling no phone. Just why y'all know we know we're going out wrong, y'all. And like the PPP, we could scorch your earth. So watch yourself. That's all I want to say. Now, the other thing people are asking me to comment on. Oh, thank you to those people who have sent reviews on the lunches served yesterday, the meals served yesterday. So far, it's all positive for quality and taste and so on. Good. Not a little There's less than 1/10. Not even one. I want a singular complaint. Let me see, a singular indication that the price might not have been right for somebody, right? But in terms of quality and so on and taste and everything, I think people are quite satisfied based on the reviews. Thank you for those reviews, right? Now I don't have the image. The image is somewhere out there, but I don't think I'm not in the mood to search for the image. I mean, again, a picture tells 1,000 words. Anybody has that photograph of, you know what I'm talking about? Our servicemen being fed. Anybody has a photo of our servicemen being fed? Please send it to me immediately while I play these voice notes, because I want people to see. Those who haven't seen, I want them to see. Right? Because a picture tells 1,000 words. And I want the servicemen to be able to look at themselves also. Voice note.
Good morning, Mr. Sampson, and good morning, viewers. The PPP party, those people is a real disgrace. You got ministers, especially the Admiral, raping girls, and they got him in that party instead of get rid of that man. It is so shameful when you listen to this interview with this young lady. There's a second one, and as she said, there are more. Something have to be done. Guyanese, you people need to stand up. You people need to stand up. The PPP must go. There's no way you can have ministers in your government who are going around raping young children and think it's okay. It's not okay. It's disgusting. Only hope the Guyanese people stand up. Stand up. This is shameful. He's supposed to be gone. He's supposed to be out of there. I don't know why they get him sticking around. And Alien Jagdio and the rest in the PPP encouraging him too. Every minute he flashing picture on Facebook with some foolishness talking about somebody. He's out of order. He's out of order. You people need to let this guy go. That's my take for today.
Thank you for that voice note. It's like giving a little child a toy, right? Then you give a little child a toy, what does he do? He plays with it. If we have our own children and we don't hold them responsible, then what do? Right? As we like to say, they overdo the thing. They overdo the thing. And so we can't have, we shouldn't have. We shouldn't have people overdoing the thing. But that's the reality of what we have. That is the reality of what we have. There are other voice notes. Let me play them. I'm waiting for that photo. Please, can somebody send me that photograph? Because like I said, a photo tells 1,000 words. I'm trying to get out. Oh, Lord. Oh, I think this is where I go. Good. Yes, a photo tells 1,000 words. Let's have that photograph. Here's another voice note.
Jimmy Clip song, do you have a real mama? Jimmy Clip song, do you have a real mama? Morning, Kadaki. Jimmy Clip song, do you have a real mama?
Oh, do you have a real mama? That's a song request. I remember this is not the best buy request here. Oh, yeah. Not the best buy request.
Good morning, Mr. Sampson.
We played that one already. I think, let me see if it's the photo that came here. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for this photograph. Let's talk. Now, let me start by saying I don't know who these soldiers are. Or these men in uniform, I don't know who they are. I have no malice in my mind for them. But I can say, look at them. Right? Look at them. When you look at these men, well, that word is being used loosely. Right? When you look at men, military men, being fed like that, what comes to your mind? What comes to your mind? Y'all answer me, because I want to know. I know what came to my mind. When I first saw the image, I said, wait, bye. Like, we got a set of homosexuals in uniform. Y'all forgive me. Those were my exact thoughts. Let's take this call before I get back to that. Call it live.
Over the weekend on Mother's Day, I literally cried for to see what our Black people bring themselves to. That's humiliating, and that's to show Ali and them that what they can do to Black people. I'm sorry, I sent it to you because I took it off for it for a birth page. Thank you.
Thank you for your call.
Well,
yeah. I'm serious. The very first thing that came from, like, we got a set of homosexuals in the army. I missed that call. Or the caller hung up when I answered. Usually when you find an adult feeding another by hand is a love affair. I ain't care who see otherwise. Y'all could tell me if I die for a backward or something. Call on the line. Call, you need to mute your mic.
hello, good morning, good morning.
Caller, you need to mute your mic and hold the line, please.
Okay.
Right? When you see an adult feeding another adult by hand, it's usually a love affair. It's at an engagement, at a birthday party, at a wedding reception, and so on. And here for public display, we have our men and women in uniform. In fact, our men in uniform. There are no woman there. Our men in uniform being fed by the hands of another man. Pastor said something last week about the LGBTQ and passing legislation and so on to legitimize it and so on in this country. Is this an indication of where our military is going? That's my simplistic interpretation from beginning. First time I saw it. Let's hear this caller, and we'll continue to talk about that. Call it live.
Yes, good morning to you. Happy morning to all my Black brothers and sisters. Well. If it was not raised in that subject there, I would have raised it. It would have come for raise. That's why the army then cannot do nothing for Black people who pay them bills, taxpayers, because 95 Black people working in Guyana.
95.
I think Flash has a connection there, connection problem. But let me just read this some cursory search on the internet. Food sharing may be used for mate attraction, sexual access, or mate retention in humans. Mate attraction, sexual access, or mate retention in humans. Are we saying that our military men and women, and why I keep saying women, our military men are mates to Irfan Ali? He's either trying to attract them or he's trying to retain them. Is that the image which you want to give of your military self, my brothers? Look at them. I don't see a single Indo-Guyanese. I don't see a single Amerindio-Guyanese. I don't see, do we have Chinese in our army? I don't see, is she a black man? Black man hungry? Bring him come. Is a set of hungry belly black man in uniform that is displayed in those images? Right? Now, when you look at that, like I ask, are these mates of Ali's? Certainly. You have to be mates of Ali. They have to be mates of Ali. And if they're mates of Ali, obviously, it is why you cannot get them to hold Ali accountable. Right? You cannot get Ali to hold them accountable because they're mates, they're friends, they're buddies. That image suggests that they're buddy. And so we are not going to hold our body. Right? Accountable. We're not going to criticize our body. We're not going to say, well, hey, this government is excessive. This president is excessive. Because we can be fed from the hand of the president. Good? Call it live. Call it your live. Carla.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. You're live.
Yes. I must thank you for what you said Friday. Thank you very much. And I thank God for providing a minister on this program every day, giving us extra strength to be on this program and to talk about the word of God because he represents what God tell Moses to say. Remember this day, with thy Lord thy God has brought you out of the hands of bondage. Remember to always share the good words. Remember what I did for you, and I will always do for you. And I want to say loud and clear to the pastor, thank you very much to represent me a morning. When you said plain, short, you said France garden, not racial. It's not I tell you to say that. It's God tell you to say that. France garden is not racial. But I born in it, I grew up in it, I live in it. So I know racial. I know when somebody doing wrong thing to other person because of the complexion. We will always find people speak out. No. I see the video with Ryan Ford at Woodbine. And the man that who introduced him is part of Rickford Bird organization. I get him hot this morning. I said the man that introduced him to the stadium is Rickford Bird partner. You see Rickford Bird? What he's doing is totally wrong. If you like black people, why don't you encourage MPs to rally behind Abinat and to get this wicked government out? The people them in America would not come back and vote and take black people out of punishment, but they want to call the shots and keep black people more down because they're making money off of black people, Guyanese problem home. Them know themselves. Them saying Abinati, but Abinati racial. And Ryder Ford is not racial. Don't cut me off yet. But you see what I'm doing? Them always place Ryder Ford with a only person to show black Guyanese. I don't fuck with that nonsense. 95% of Cree people, they're racial. Black people love them. Still, other than racial, black man still love them. Now, he walked with a female MP to show what to do what. That I be not racial and he's not racial. One of my friends tell him plain, she must go and help Anti-Data. Anti-Data need help. He said, all right. But he was there when Anti-Data made the video. But people need help. Just like Anti-Data. Anti-Data only said one vote. Anti-Data said, I vote for the PPP from since 1965 up to 2020. But he said, if they lose this time, it's only one vote. No, he running behind one vote and left thousands of votes. I see one of the coalition MP, them left and got to the board and give Anti-Data one vote, comfort. And when that black girl, family in Buxtonian calling for justice, none of them in with it yet, but they left and got to the board. This is our biggest problem in Guyana. We don't love ourselves, but we love the cold people them. When I see them doing us all because we stupid. And it's time for black people to pull them sacks up, man and woman. I'm still waiting for aid from this same Ryder Ford and Amanda. What you guys know about Mohammed giving Congress money? Just how y'all know about under Abinat to watch but blind check. It's what you guys know. Come out and let people know what you guys know. That Mohammed giving Congress and who in charge, who was leader, who was the treasury, who take the check, who signed the check. Let people know. Let Ryder Ford come back from America and answer that question. Because every day we will ask him, what do you know about that? Those money and how many more business people who doing criminal activities giving Congress money. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your call. I see Miranda Brown found her voice. Because I say when I saw military men being fed cake from the hands of the presidents, the first thoughts that came to my mind is that has to be a love affair. I have no apologies for that statement, Miranda. I say when I see adults feeding each other with a hand, it's man and woman story. I say so. The only other persons that I see adults feed with their hands are children. So it's one of the two things these photographs could suggest to me. Either these are Ali's children or their mates. A picture tells 1,000 words. And I have no apologies for that. Can these men, and you tell me what respectful, what respect? Can you imagine the disrespect that these men have brought onto their homes? That they're supposed to be heads of? Forget the army. You son seeing a photograph like this makes it okay for another boy to be feeding your son in school. It also exposes that child to ridicule. I see you father on the news and a man is feeding you. Call it life.
Good morning, Kadaki. Good morning, listeners.
Miranda, why you didn't talk when I was talking with Darren? Sorry, caller. Darren Loud. Go ahead, caller.
There are a few things I just want to touch quickly on. The first thing has to do with those military officers who are being fed by Ali. Permit me, if I'm wrong, I'm asking for forgiveness. But I can't recall seeing any of those pictures or videos showing Ali giving Omar Khan anything to eat. And if what I'm saying is true, it means that it's a further action to minimize the extent of black people. It's a further action. What on earth could have gone into those officers' head to allow Ali, this little boy Ali, to put his hands, God knows where those hands came from, into their mouths to say he's going to do something symbolic and thinks that is something good because as far as I see in the world see, it's an unhealthy habit. It is not a practice that normal man would encourage. For me, there's a recipe for disaster and for divorce. You can't want to be a man at home and Ali's plaything in public. What kind of crap is that? We heard, by the way, that somebody says it's the present that the army gave to Ali. That's what I heard, and I don't know how true that is. But it shows again that Ali distrusts the army. Because if the army gave him a cake, and he wants them to taste it first, it simply says to me that he doesn't trust them. So why is he making these black people mockery? Why are they accepting the notion that they are second class? All my life as a guidance, I've never seen and heard of any set of senior officers being fed by the person who's supposed to be in charge of the army, in terms of ceremonial positions. How could that ever be something that they will be so glad to have put in the public sphere? Now let me just divert quickly to Mr. Rapeman. The only way Dharam Lal could be ever so often being indulgent in a situation like that is because he knows that whatever happens, nothing is going to happen to him because he holds the key with all the secrets for his cabal. Many may think it's a Dharamlal thing alone, but I can tell you, he knows why he said what he said sometime in the past, that he's not going there alone. He has all the secrets for all the ministers who are indulgent. He just happened to be unfortunate, and his clientele are the ones who are brave enough to speak out. So don't see this thing as a Dharamlal case alone. But I am wondering if one day when he goes to bed, if there wouldn't be an accidental situation where we hear next morning that robbery took out Dharamlal's life. Because you cannot trust Barajagdio. You cannot trust Barajagdio if he finds himself vulnerable in a case where he can be exposed further. Lo and behold, Dharamlal, you better be on your P and your Q, boy. Because the PPP leaves no stone unturned. That's all I have to say for today, and you guys have a wonderful day.
Thank you, caller. Miranda Brown again found her voice and say, yes, you use the word hungry belly. Shame on you. Hungry belly. Hungry belly. The PPP made that term popular when they talk about black people. The so-called vice president made that term popular when he was sitting with critics. Hungry belly. So they are just playing to the definition. People say, now what you're called is what you answer to. And as far as I answer the call, if you're feeding your children by hand, you're feeding your lover by hand. If it's not your children or your lover, you're feeding a pet by hand. None of those three conditions to feeding by hand, as far as I'm concerned, suit. There are many uniform though. So they either are his mates, they either are his children, or they are his pets. Y'all choose to them. I can't. Miranda Brown, you find your voice to talk about that. I want you to talk about the allegations of rape and cover-up and sex trafficking that are affecting the PPP and the hierarchy. That's what I want you to address. Don't come and talk about them. Let me talk about them. Call it life.
Yes, good morning. I was listening to the program this morning, right? You don't find it strange that, every time your program, you speak about Dharamlal, you speak about Jack Dio. We got a lot of more important things to deal with, sir. Because to live in, you got a lot of issues. Why are you not addressing them?
Why are you not calling to comment on the fact that Dharamlal has been allegedly has been accused of rapes on several occasions? And like the last accuser said, scores of young children he has been allegedly raping. Why don't you address that? The lines remain open. Sing for your supper, but don't sing here. Call critics and complain about me. Voice note. Crass.
Good morning, Kodaki and listeners. When I saw that image, I was so angry. I felt so revolted at what I was seeing. Right? Now, don't forget that
I don't disrupt my voice now. Please wait.
Indo-Guyanese had called us hungry belly dogs. And that is the first thing that came to my mind when I saw that image. The second thing is that the sitting government continues to disrespect our servicemen and women, in this case, the picture reflects black men. I I don't know what to say about this image. Instead, I am just angry. Is the president not conscious that this image is feeding into the mantra out there about hungry belly dogs? And again, the disrespect has grown for our servicemen. Whatever happened to the Commission of Inquiry and its findings for our servicemen who are now dead? You don't hear anything from their relatives. You don't hear nothing from the sitting government pertaining to that. And I don't want to say what I want to say on your program because it's not suitable for your audience. But this picture, God damn it, it's so annoying. And I don't want to go back to the place I was when I saw the photograph. The second thing is that pertaining to the press conference with the young lady, Miss Hack, I believe is her name, there are so many similarities in what she said between this case and the case with the other Indigenous female whose report disappeared for whatever reason. Now she said that she met with the president and she was put off because the government minister Dharamlal was leaving at the same time. It was the same thing that happened when the other young lady was taken to the house by the police. Dharamlal was leaving. Is that not a manner of intimidation? For me, it is. She said she was put off and pushed around by policemen who wanted to pass off the case to somebody else. They didn't want to handle it, and they didn't want to deal with the whole situation. Isn't it the same sort of situation that took place when the other young lady, I can't remember her name, when her case was taken to the DPP and resent to the police and all of that? There are some glaring similarities in both cases if we really listen to her and compare it to the other instance. It is sad that our society has come to a place where rape is acceptable. It is sad that female ministers and female organizations sit quietly while all of this takes place. It has now become a norm for rape in our society, especially when it involves a sitting minister of governance. It's not very nice, and I agree with you when you say that we should have an international inquiry when it comes to things like these. Our children, whether Amerindian, whether Afro-Guyanese, whether Indo-Guyanese, our children are the ones who are suffering the most from instances like these. As far as I'm concerned, these pageants need to be handled differently, or it needs to come to a place where there aren't any pageants for our Indigenous children especially. Something needs to be done about that. I am ashamed of those women on both sides of the aisle who are silent. We need to do better. We really need to do better. What sort of children are we having in our society who are affected by the side effects of rape? Good morning.
Thank you for that voice note. Miranda Brown tell us that President sharing birthday cake that the army personnel took to him. What happened to a fork? What happened to a party plate? What happened to dignity? Yeah? You don't just get respect, you have to earn it. You've certainly lost mine. Call your life.
Yeah, good morning, Kadaku. I'd like to send a big thank you to all my sponsors yesterday, and everything was on par. I have no complaints. Now moving along. This girl with this revelation, Douglas made that revelation immediately after the Amerindian girl made hers. But when this revelation come out, and the girl refused to say that nothing happened to she, they quickly slide the revelation under the carpet. But what happened, I like how the girl moved. This thing now is an international thing, because with the girl who gone over to CNN, that was being picked up, and she made sure it's not that it's a new allegation. It's the same old allegation that was hidden from the public that has been revisited. And what people have got to realize, that in this day and age of technology, once something goes out into cyberspace, it is there. And journalists and people take these things and put it into the archives. And when they're ready fit, they go back into the archives and dig it up. And seeing now that Guyana will be scrutinized and cleaned out and dig out for all the atrocities following the appearance of Isabel Young from Vice News, I think lots of things that were long ago being hidden will come up, because remember, this lady now is going to be fishing in Guyana waters. And everything that is being done in secret, once it gets out there, she's going to have Guyana as her bait onto because we should get in where she want to go. And she may always she will always have that feeling to try to make things of Guyana being heard in the open world. So we're in for a ride. Now coming back to those men in those things in the army, should tell Larry said this thing was being poisoned. That means a set of craven black men would have dropped dead, because what in front Ali did there was to use these men as a poison taster. Because in the olden days with kings, you had people who used to taste the food to see if they get poison. Like how they got outriders and bodyguards who's supposed to take a bullet and let the president or the king live. That is the same thing that in front Ali has equated those soldiers to in the army. So it is something that they have got to see where they are in this installed regime. Now coming to Dharamlal, I think that this is the time to talk about women. Women in the party. I could remember when the wild hog, they scream out rape. Kadaki, there are many women in society who are being abused, either sexually, physically, or verbally, in marriages and in arrangements that look as though they are happy and they are not. Coming back to rape, I could tell you about rape. I was being raped. And when I got raped, like everything about me, I lost it. And when you want to start up your sex life, being raped, it is exactly what Miss Khan is saying. You become a shell of yourself. And imagine little girls being trusted into this type of life, this adult area, your last area of life, in such a gruesome manner. We now have to sit down and study why we lost 19 little girls, Amerindian girls, and it was said that those girls were being sexually abused. And let me tell you something, it may not only be one Dharam Lal in the install regime, it may be many more under the cover of Nigel Dharam Lal Baba.
Thank you for your call. Call your life.
Good morning, Brother Cadet. I want to be just brief. But when I look at that photograph of the hand pushing something in its corner's mouth, it reminds me of Jim Jones giving the cyanide to his followers. That's all I want to say. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your call.
Good morning, Kadaki. Now, the PPP government is a misogynist government, right? We all know that. And that includes the women, them also inside there. They are all misogynists, right? And so you can't expect them to treat women better, right? That's one. Number two, the thing with the officers in the army, it continues to show the disrespect that this government get for black people, right? That thing have many connotations, and so we got to be careful. This now is using them, using the army, the black men in the army, to put them against us so that we will cuss them out, and so that they will develop a kind of a anger and a hate for us. It's not by accident the PPP do that, you know. The PPP know what they're doing. So, although it is downright uncalled for, it is wrong. It is, I don't know what to say. I can't find words to describe those photographs there, you know. But it shows that the PPP have no respect for black people. And it could also be a setup that they want to turn the army against the people. Because when you're going to go on their social media and cuss out the army and cuss out the officer, some of them going to develop that kind of a vengeance or a ignorance against black people. So we got to be careful with these things, you know. This is bad. This is wickedness on the government behalf, and it is really, really, really shameful for black people. All right, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
They look like a pack of hungry bellies.
Scholar can't decide what they want to do, man.
Marty, you must look at that in those who are out of the diaspora. A wonderful and a blessed Lord.
Call it life. Call it life. Call it your life.
My brothers and sisters, those from the righteous mind who are righteous mind, the righteous are the people. My take once again this wonderful day that God has blessed us to be in the land of the living, to remind us all that we are having spiritual warfare going on universal, especially what is taking place in Guyana. Don't be surprised of it. It's the kingdom of light and the kingdom of darkness clashing. One of the most valuable and important thing in this universe is the soul of a human being. I'm talking about other than God. It's the soul of a human being. And that is what the battle is about. The soul of the human being. To have control and dominion of the mind and the choice and decision making of a human being. And that is what this government is all about. And why I'm saying this, I'm reminding you all again, you expect this time to Mr. Damlal, and they're going to have to Damlal and after Damlal. Kingdom do not war against themselves. Kingdom do not war against themselves. The war for soul of the human, the war to get control over the soul of the human for righteousness or for wickedness, for evil or for good. You're going to have a blessing, of course. And why I'm saying this once again is to remind us that this kingdom never and do not expect them to war against themselves. It's those righteous minded and hearted people, regardless what race, religion, or creed you are, you have got to stand up and resist the wrong and the evil, regardless of what race or what religion or what creed they're from. That is what I'm speaking about, righteous minded, hearted people. You can't expect, for example, the Vice President, Mr. Jagnio, he said he was married to Vashni. Yeah, but he said he locked her out from the bed. Why would a man lock out his own wife out of the bedroom? Or at this stage in their marriage? That speaks for you. And now, in the end, in the total end, what did he do? After violation took place with all the cricket stadium and all the place, where were the human rights? Women this, women that, red trade, all them. Did they come out and stand up for? Then he denied it as a president, said he was never married. One big lie. The devil is the father of lie. So he used and he abused her. You can't expect he can stand up for Dharamlal, come against Dharamlal. There are two peas in the same pot. And a matter of fact, many of them within the PPP government, those same ministers and these things, most of them, I'm telling y'all, they are gays. They are gay. I mean, they are trifle people. They are gays. Check them out and you will see. So don't expect that to happen in that way. And so I'm saying the righteous-minded one in the PPP government, if there are any of y'all left there, need to stand up and counterattack the evil that is taking place. It trickles down to all the agencies in Guyana, all the agencies in this country. Right now is under attack by evil workers, evil appointment, and evil doing. So the Guyana nation, we are going to scream, although if we don't stand up in the word of God and resist the evil and deal with it. God never gave us a spirit of fear. He gave us a spirit of boldness and sound mind. That is why the PPP government is driving fear into people. It's for them to become timid and frightened to challenge the evil that they're coming with. And so I'm saying, Guyanese have to stand up against this evil, or the evil will devour them and their descendants. And in the end, what will happen? The kingdom of darkness become successful and get the soul of mankind and most Guyanese. Guyanese stand up, resist this evil. It's the only way it can happen. Right now, the PP government is under. They are under. I am telling you with any doubt. They are under the rainbow. They are under the rainbow. So get a grip, Guyanese. Stand up. The couple of y'all out there who righteous minded result have to stand up and resist the evil. God is standing by your side. God is with you. I'll have a blessing, Mr. Kodaki. God bless your program.
Thank you for your call.
Bless you, Guyanese.
Thank you for your voice note. And with that, it's a wrap. I'm sorry I can't play any more voice notes and so on and so forth. But tomorrow morning, we'll be back here for another program of Guyanese Morning Time. See you. By God's grace in the morning. Good. Continue to be good Samaritans. Continue to hold this government accountable. Watch your service, men and women. I know what they're upon, but I know we are upon something